It was, I guess, both of my parents are interested in music, and so it was always in our house. And I really appreciate that they gave me that interest and love of it, really. And it wasn't that long actually before I was exploring things on my own as well. And actually, I remember a primary school teacher sort of saying, it's not that normal for a boy to like music as much as you do. And it made me sort of wonder if that was, if I was doing the right thing. But yeah, it's an incredibly, it's always been an important thing in my life, I guess. I was incredibly excited by so many pieces which tell stories or connect. But I found that this particular collection seemed to be a bigger journey. There's a bigger process, moving from this sort of slow sense of swirling, maybe a slow sense of thoughtfulness into something that becomes more and more wild and more frenzied. There's a connection between the this childhood in the Carenza jig, in the Britten Elegy, which he wrote when he was very young. A Little Study While We're Stuck Indoors has also got a childlike element to the story, the fairy tale. There's magic in Sally Beamish's Ariel, which is inspired by The Tempest. And there's this sense of whirlwind dancing in the others, even in both of the Ligeti pieces, in the Lunga, the slow dance, and also the loop, which is the more kind of crazy, frenzied dance. And the Hindemith has some sense of wild dancing about it, in that sort of crazy energy. And the Carenza jig obviously has some dancing too. There's a sense of motion all the time. That's the wonderful thing about music. It never stands still. Music's always a journey. It's always a story. And so I love that connection, really, between the storyline and how it fits into the music. After Sally's piece comes Doloroso by Kurtág, who's another major Hungarian composer. I think he might be 96 now, 95, 96. I can't think of a more poignant 90 seconds of music somehow. It's incredibly short, and most of it's incredibly quiet, but it has this incredible sorrowful quality. There's quite a lot of silence again, and it's there's a great sort of attention to detail, but somehow the whole character is it's a little bit objective. the thing I love most about making music is the connection between people performing, okay, but especially between audience members and performers. Music is all about communication. It's all about connections, and it's a completely global thing. It's there for everyone. It crosses all national and linguistic boundaries. It's something there isn't a culture in the world that doesn't have music. Whether it's a wind down or something to make you more excited, music can do all of these things. The same piece of music could mean something completely different for different people. It transcends words in the most exciting way, and that's why it never stands still. There's always something new to explore. It's an incredibly exciting thing to be part of. Benjamin Britten's early Elegy for solo viola. This is one of the pieces that was found in his drawer after he died. It was written on one bit of manuscript paper with the date 1st of August 1930 on it. And if you look in his diary for that day, he writes that this was the day that he'd left school, where he was very unhappy, but he writes that he didn't expect himself to feel so sad. Again, it's that thing about what music's about. It's both happy and sad at the same time. It's very early, so he was only 16 at that time, but there's some incredible eloquence that you can really already hear, an incredible assurance, an incredibly particular way of writing for the instrument. He is one of actually many composers who chose to play the viola, and I'm sure that's partly that same thing that, to be right in the heart of the harmony and right to the heart of the orchestra. There's something very particular about the way Britten writes this, and it's a really interesting comparison with the Britten cello suite that Will played on his video, which is completely the other end of his life. And there's this same eloquence, there's this same connection to the instrument somehow that's very strong. We're back with the Ligeti, the next movement of the sonata, which is called Loop. And what I love about this piece is it's unbelievably energetic. It has this sort of frenetic energy. He writes that he wants it to sound sort of dangerously virtuosic as it becomes faster and faster and faster. And yet it's written. It was dedicated to actually Ligeti's publisher on his 90th birthday. So I love that idea that you would give a 90-year-old the most energized music you could possibly imagine. I think that's just such a beautiful thing. Where the Ora Lunga, the beginning of the program, where it felt as though it was expanding and finding different embellishments. This feels as though it's one statement that gets shorter, faster and faster, and shorter and shorter. So it's like a loop it's like a swirl that becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. A little study while we're all stuck indoors is a piece written by Morgan Edward Overton. It's inspired by the flying robot stories, which were from the German 19th century fairy tales by Heinrich Hoffmann. And it tells the story of a boy who goes out in a storm against the advice of adults, and he gets blown away. And Morgan had this idea that there was this connection with lockdown and people breaking lockdown rules and things. And so it has this kind of frantic energy. He originally wrote a piece for viola and singer, which had the poem. I've tried to relay the drama that he put into the viola version of this piece, which I think is wonderful. Again, it's really short, although it's over in a flash. There's something magical about the journey, something like a real fairy tale. I love the people in the Hebrides ensemble. I love the players. I love the energy and the dynamism they bring. I love the fact that the whole organisation has such a sense of making things happen, of being energised. And Will Conway, who's the artistic director, has such an amazing sense of how to put programs together, and also he's such an enabler of people. He creates a feeling of trust, I think, that people will explore maybe repertoire that they wouldn't normally do because they trust him, and I think that the ensemble has a really important role to bring music familiar and less familiar around Scotland and also beyond, and I think the group has a real vibrancy which I think is hopefully infectious. I hope that people can get a sense of the journey that I feel as though I've undertaken in going through these pieces. Hopefully there's a sense of energy, a sense of optimism in all the pieces actually in the programme. Even that Kurtág Doloroso, which is so incredibly sad, there's some sense of solace in it. And I really hope that there's a sense of journey, a sense of storytelling, a sense of connection. I decided to finish the collection of pieces with this tiny piece by Huw Watkins, incredibly talented Welsh composer, called Absence, which was also written in lockdown, actually, like the little study while we're stuck indoors. Somehow it's an incredibly peaceful thing. There's a real sense of solace about it. And again, it's very short, but I find it an incredibly simple and beautiful thing.